We are recording.
Okay, hello, I'm Ian.
And I am Sam.
And we welcome you to the latest episode of Such a Ranker. The show is simple. We take 7 completely random films and we rank them from worst to best. What could possibly go wrong, Sam? What films do we have on the docket this week?
Well, first of all, we have the Guy Ritchie classic, Snatch.
Cool, from 2000.
Yes, his follow-up to the successful Lock, Stock.
Yeah.
And possibly the best film of 2000.
Possibly, yes. Possibly not. Depending on your view.
I look forward to delving in to that one.
Yep. Then we've got 1999's Tarzan, the Disney classic animated movie.
Yes.
Not the Skarsgård-led abomination that was...
Yeah.
What came out? When's that? 2015 now?
2015, I believe.
Yeah, it's not that live action remake. This is the animated movie.
The last hurrah of Phil Collins.
Honestly, how hard does that soundtrack go though?
It's the greatest animated soundtrack
You
ever?
literally have like Tarzan the movie, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
It's just
As soon as
phenomenal.
you hear "Son of Man."
Oh man, that is a hard album. Like, how do you follow? Like, literally, I think I literally have on my notes on this. I have Phil Collins goes hard on soundtrack. I don't really need much more than that.
Yeah,
like,
we could actually just rename Such a Ranker Two Worlds, One Family. It would be fair.
Just absolutely amazing. And then the third movie that we've got to discuss today is The Life of Pi, 2012 Ang Lee movie.
Which is actually nothing to do with pies.
Has absolutely nothing to do with Pi, or nothing actually to do with the circle principle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's spelled the same way, but it's not. You
But
know,
there are
or the Darren Aronofsky movie.
Oh,
Also
yeah.
Pi.
But there are tigers in it.
There are tigers in it, and it's a nice little heartwarming movie. I think it's more fascinating to talk about Ang Lee's career than actually to talk about Life of Pi.
Yeah.
But
Do you reckon Ang Lee would have done well directing Cruel Intentions?
I think he would have done.
Yeah.
I think he would have. I mean, this guy, he has a background in like British aristocracy. So Cruel Intentions
there you
is
go.
French aristocracy. So I think he would have done quite well.
I don't even know who Roger Cumble is, but he directed Cruel Intentions, which is one of the films on this list.
He literally has done everything Cruel Intentions. He did Cruel Intentions 2. He did the TV movie that they made only a few years ago. He's done the TV show.
So he's a franchise man.
Whole life has been Cruel Intentions.
He's trying to keep Ryan Phillips' name relevant.
I don't think Ryan Phillips has been in any of it, but like, or is it Ryan Philippe? To keep the French thing going.
I said Philippe, didn't I?
Did you say Philippe? I thought you said Ryan Phillip.
Oh, sorry, that's just my Englishness. I wouldn't do well in Sicario.
I don't even know what that... What is that? That's tangentially linked, isn't it? 2015, Denis Villeneuve. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not even going to give that another thought. Very good movie.
That's amazing.
Very good movie.
Yeah,
Unknown.
I'm a big fan of the writer.
Denis Villeneuve was very unknown at the time. Huge fan of the writer. Taylor Sheridan.
I will talk about him more soon. But yeah, his film writing is very, very good. His TV writing, however, we'll get to it.
Then after Sicario, we will talk about, I would say, probably one of Martin Scorsese's worst films.
Well, we had this conversation off air. Just least good.
It's his least good. Yeah, that's true.
But I would say I would not necessarily agree with it, but somewhat agree with it.
My main issue with it is, and we'll get into this in more detail, is pacing.
Yes.
And how incredibly long it is for relatively not a lot to say. That's pacing entirely right.
Yeah. It's got a lot of urine in it, though.
Yep. And speaking of planes...
Yeah, and speaking of urine, we've got Wall-E.
We'll go with the urine one. Yeah, why not?
Wall-E, one of the great classic animations of the 21st century.
2008.
Amazing, isn't it?
How is it that old and yet still looks so phenomenal?
I'm a huge fan of Andrew Stanton, who is directing the new Toy Story 5. So that'll be very interesting.
Is he?
But yes.
But he's been away from Pixar for a long time as well.
Yeah, he only really does Toy Story now.
Yeah.
But he did Finding Nemo and this.
Yeah.
He was a huge favourite of mine, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. And particular Thomas Newman's score.
Yes, but absolutely.
Should we start with another heartwarming classic in Snatch?
Let's start with Snatch. Why not?
Yes. So give me your take on Guy Ritchie in general. We've kind of delved in this in the past with a few deep dive fives, but we're now actually talking about a classic Guy Ritchie film. And Do you remember seeing this at the cinema? I remember
I
this.
definitely didn't see
I
this in the
remember
cinema.
this coming out because I was a huge fan.
This was
of Lock, Stock.
2000. I
Yeah.
was too young for this.
Yeah, this is one of the greatest. I kind of put this. It's like a British version of a mixture of The Big Lebowski and Pulp Fiction, where it has got so much going on, but so little actual story. But the characters are so interesting, and the situations they've been put in are so hilariously brilliant. It's so quotable. Like the character of Bricktop, I probably quote him every other day.
Oh, Bricktop.
It's an early Stephen Graham film who's
Yeah.
become one of Britain's best actors.
A weird role for Benicio del Toro.
Very weird.
Letty James as well, who's come
Letty
back
James
into
is great.
the floor of things.
It's probably Jason Statham's best acting.
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones is great.
No, Jason Statham's best acting is still Spy. I still, hands down,
don't.
Spy single-handedly changed my perception of Jason Statham. As soon as I watched him in that, all of a sudden I got everything else that he was doing.
Do you think that the world missed out on Alan Ford? Because his narrating in Lock, Stock is fantastic, and then his portrayal as Bricktop is just fabulous.
Chewing the scenery.
Yeah.
He is loving that role.
Do you
He's
know
loving
what nemesis
every line.
means?
Everything about it.
I probably say every other day. It was a rhetorical question, Harold. What have I told you about thinking?
Right, to go back to your question. I have a love-hate relationship sometimes with Guy Ritchie stuff because I think he can quite easily fall into a pastiche of himself because he's very known for a very particular style. It doesn't help that his particular style and his kind of career, what kind of shot him into the spotlight was a 1-2 punch of Lock, Stock and then Snatch. Lock, Stock is the better film.
Yeah, it's got a lot more of a story and a lot more to say.
Snatch is more fun.
Snatch is so fun.
I actually think that as a 1-2 combination, I do think they're quite interesting because they show what a full-rounded version of a Guy Ritchie film could be. I don't think I've seen that film yet. All I see is elements of one or the other in everything else. And that even goes down to things like, you're watching Snatch, and when you then pick up Sherlock Holmes, you're sitting there going, I can see Snatch in this. I can't see Lock, Stock. But then when you're seeing like some of the other Statham stuff that he's done, you go, I see more Lock, Stock than I do Snatch. So it's really strange. I don't see that. I really want it to come together. I want it to come together and it give me this really good depiction of this is Guy Ritchie. This is him on form. It's doing what he needs to do. But I haven't seen it yet.
He's had moments where he's delved into these kind of sort of London gangster dramas, I suppose.
He feels comfortable in that role,
Yeah.
right? He feels comfortable.
He always tries to go away and then he gets pulled back in. Like Rock and Roller, I think, is okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big fan of The Gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan. He's very prolific these days with his films,
Yeah.
but they have like this quantity over quality aspect, and they feel very, what do we call it? Direct to streaming vibe to it.
Direct to streaming vibes, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think he'll ever reach the heights of this because I've been doing this and Snatch, doing Lock, Stock and Snatch back to back is pretty amazing. Because I mean, at the time this came out, he sort of had the Casino criticism where he was just going back into the same territory because Scorsese did Goodfellas and then Casino, and everyone just thinks Casino is just retreading Goodfellas, and Guy Ritchie had the same accusations with Snatch.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but there's also another thing with hindsight on this as well. This predates. You mentioned at the very beginning when we first started talking about Snatch, you said, "Oh, this feels like kind of the Casino stuff and what Scorsese
Big
was
Lebowski,
doing.
yeah.
Big Lebowski,
Big Lebowski
sort of that.
and Pulp Fiction.
I got different vibes. I get from Snatch, I get Ocean's 11 vibes. And this predates the rebooted Ocean's 11, which actually just so happened to star Brad Pitt too. And so when I saw this, I felt like it was refreshing because all of a sudden it's your main character is a diamond.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is tangential to that. It's you're all just side characters.
Yeah. Well, the diamond's kind of like it's like the
It's the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
He is a MacGuffin filmmaker. He makes
Yeah.
things with a MacGuffin. Even Fountain of Youth, there is a MacGuffin in that. It's like the
Yeah.
Fountain of Youth. But for me, like that's where I find it like particularly fascinating when you watch Snatch is where it kind of sits. Is it predates all of those heist movies that were before it, and this is kind of like a semi version of that. But it is technically evolved from Lock, Stock. I have a confession. I, for the longest time, didn't like Snatch.
That's fair.
I actually didn't like Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah.
I watched Snatch in preparation for this a few weeks ago, and I enjoyed it much, much more than I ever have done before.
There is not a boring scene in this entire film. It's one if I don't know, if I'm having a day where I just need to kill like an hour and a half, I can't think of a better film to watch.
If I did have one criticism of it,
sorry, go on.
I was going to say no. You're absolutely right. Like in terms of like the scenes, everything's fun, everything's good. There's two. If I was going to be pedantic and have two criticisms of it, I would say, what is Brad Pitt doing with an Irish accent? But that is a very common criticism of his role in this. Is like, what are you doing?
Well, he's playing a traveller.
Yeah, I know, but it's more, what are you doing with an Irish accent rather than anything else? Like, it's not the best Irish accent. It's very
See, they kind of explain it in the film.
Oh, they absolutely. They even play off on it. Whenever he says anything, and they go, "Sorry, what, mate?" And then everybody else says,
"Are you more talking? Why is Brad Pitt in this film?"
It's more, why is he in this? I personally think it was like a mix of things like Fight Club and all of that lot had led to this role. It is weird because also he was at the very precipice of his star power at this point. So to be in this film, what did they do?
Benicio del Toro, did he win the Oscar this year?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he
might have done.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
But no, it's an amazing fun time.
Yeah.
You can't.
But that leads me then to my second criticism. My second criticism is I am let down by the ending. I didn't think the ending was as satisfying as it could have been. I wanted it to kind of have a bit more of a payoff than it did because it weirdly just ends. Like they do wrap it up, and there is like obviously. What goes around comes around, and it's funny how the irony thing is, as much as all this stuff happens, it still ends up in the hands of the people that it was originally intended to be into. I get all of that. That was okay, but it wraps up so quickly that it's a bit like, oh, okay, like it. I wanted it to be smarter. You know, it kind of felt like that was the obvious way to end this. Like when it's the whole, oh, Brad Pitt was actually a lot smarter than. Yeah. You know, he was like, well, obviously he was. Like, obvious, like. That didn't feel to me like I was sitting there going, oh, yeah, this is so amazing. I didn't see this happening or anytime soon. And I think that payoff isn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, but you don't need stuff like that. You just need stuff with Bricktop saying, like...
just chewing the scenery.
Yeah. You're just there for the fun time with the characters.
It's fun. Yeah, I think it's fun. Tarzan, 1999.
Oh, no, I want to do more quotes from Bricktop.
I mean, you can do. You can link that into Tarzan. When you've got like Phil Collins' score going as hard as it does, I think you can get Bricktop saying something in there.
We need Bricktop in a future Tarzan film. But yeah, Tarzan, I mean, as we say, it's probably the end of the Disney Renaissance in many ways.
Yeah.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty well trodden trope in a way now. You don't see it a lot in films like as a storyline anymore, but it's that whole nature nurture debate, like what is home, what is reality, all that stuff. So
great year for Brian Blessed. He did this and Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I mean the plot of Tarzan is probably pretty. People would know what that is right now. So basically, Tarzan is a child. He's washed up in a shipwreck, and he's basically. Sired, should we say, by a family of gorillas. And grows up with the gorillas until Jane Porter comes along and her family and random mercenaries that she brings along with her on her expedition. And Tarzan is essentially forced to deal with the fact that he's
interesting
human
take on like colonialism, I suppose, in a way.
Oddly, has a lot in common with Pocahontas.
Yeah.
That's particularly the villain angle of it kind of feels like it's kind of retreading those steps.
Yeah.
But no, Tarzan is, I think, Tale as Old as Time, I think, might be too broad into describing it. But it is it's a well constructed story to tell that fable, should we say? And yeah, Phil Collins music, man.
Oscar-winning Phil Collins.
Oscar-winning Phil.
Yeah.
Life-winning Phil Collins.
Do you know he won the Oscar over Blame Canada from South Park?
That's fair.
And South Park have used this as like a stick to beat him with for the last 25 years.
I mean, if there's ever going to be anything to do that.
I mean, to be fair, what would go down well better at the Oscars? A film about like love, no matter what, or a film about a song about blaming Canada for an impending war. But yeah, no, I think it's not like as good as The Lion King, or Aladdin, or or Beauty and the Beast. But I think it's worthy in that sort of like 90s golden era.
I like it. You mentioned as we first started talking about this, like that whole idea of, was it the last kind of commercial success for Disney within the 90s? And I think it was. I mean, it literally was one of the last films they made in the 90s. But after this, you had more of what a lot of people, a lot of circles would describe as more cult classic Disney animation. Like in that era of 2000s, for instance, where Disney didn't really know what they wanted to do.
Well,
we had like steampunk versions of things like Atlantis, Treasure Planet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, you got Atlantis, Treasure Planet getting made. Emperor's New Groove came out at that time as well, which I know a lot of people placed very highly on the Disney catalogue, but that all came after like the more commercial successful Tarzan movie for them. What do you think? So, director of this is Chris Buck. Well, it's actually two. It's Chris Buck and Kevin Lima. Chris Buck went on to make Frozen. And there is a very famous, I suppose, kind of Easter egg, which has now, I think, kind of come out to be true, that the Frozen characters, the characters in Frozen, are actually the sisters of Tarzan. Tarzan was in the shipwreck with the characters Elsa and... Who's the other sister in Frozen? Elsa and...
Muriel?
Muriel? You went with Muriel? Right, anyway, the kids of that, their sibling is Tarzan, was washed up on that, and that's then how
I
Tarzan...
have heard this theory.
I cannot now see, knowing that Chris Buck did Frozen, did Tarzan. I think they've confirmed it now, right?
Yes.
So, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's like, what, 20 years? 15 years between Tarzan and the first Frozen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
What a
really
legacy.
believe it, but it's like a nice.
I quite like
nice
it though.
connection.
I just like it. Like I would be absolutely fine if they do absolutely nothing with this other than have it as a nice little Easter egg.
They do that a lot. Do you know that The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad are quote unquote in the same universe?
Really?
You see blue meth in The Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah, and there's also like character names that are quite similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those kind of things are quite nice to do.
Yeah.
But
you're a fan of Tarzan. Do you actually like Tarzan as the movie, the 1999 movie? Do you think it's the best adaptation of Tarzan so far, apart from George of the Jungle?
Well, I would say this is the Lockstock version of Tarzan, and then George of the Jungle is like the Snatch version.
Okay, fair enough. Even though they're worlds apart. Oh no, George of the Jungle would have been 2000.
George of the Jungle is just sort of fun and silly.
It's just a bit of fun.
And you know, this Tarzan's got a bit more of a, you know, Lance Henriksen, his relationship with his adopted father is very interesting.
Yeah.
But it's heart's in the right place. Again, the score is kind of like overwhelming.
Do you think it supersedes it?
Massively.
The score is so good that you actually kind of forget the movie.
I listen to some of the songs. Put it this way, I listen to some of the songs on Spotify every so often, and I've probably other than watching the film for this, I hadn't seen it for about 10 years.
Brilliant.
But the other thing, 2D animations it's very nostalgic for our generation, I think.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious, I don't know, like a 7-year-old watching it now, and whether they'd actually sort of be glued to it the way we were to that era of Disney films.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Going from Tarzan, one shipwreck to the next,
Ooh.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, 2012? Ang Lee.
I don't think it's aged particularly well in terms of its place in pop culture, but it was a massive film when it came out.
So, let's just quickly look at the story. So, the story is... I don't want to get too bogged down in it, because I do think actually the broader the description of the plot, the better it kind of is. The better the reveal is.
Well,
If
the
you've not
ending
seen
is
it, then
like
you've
down
seen
to
it.
your own interpretation.
But essentially, as I was kind of looking at this, I was like, well, what's actually the story of this? It's like basically an Indian storyteller, Pi Patel is kind of, or P Patel, Pi Patel, is asked to tell his life story. And through that life story, he makes up this massive story of intrigue that is essentially a story that everyone wants to hear. And so he sits down with a journalist who's Rafe Spall, I think, to
an
recount
expert
this story.
in selling dinosaurs at an auction.
Yeah, and Rafe Spall's main aim in this is to not so much disprove, but to find flaws in this fantastical story that this storyteller has obviously conceived. This is you cannot deny the stature of this movie, and you cannot deny why it was as successful it was and why people liked it. It has an absolutely incredible sense of self in its special effects. It really pushed 3D. There is a heartwarming tale to all of this with a very kind of grounding twist, I suppose, at the end. Why is it forgettable? Why is it so forgettable? I've not been able to ever put my finger on why it's so forgettable.
I think people, if we're talking about the masses, they don't like interpretation endings. They like to sort of like know how it concludes.
I mean, you do kind of know how it concludes. Like it does. It's very ham-fisted in that reveal.
Kind of. Like you do think like how much of the reality is there?
Yeah, because you have to. It's very obvious by the time you get to the end of it, through the meaning that Rafe Spall's character takes from it, and the idea that he's actually going to not go ahead with the story or help embellish the fantastical elements of the story in order for this story to live on and to be told to generations. But they also very kind of obviously put the twist in the end. You know, that reveal at the end is very obvious. So I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure if I would agree necessarily that it's because it has a bit of an ambiguous ending, whether or not that kind of sunk it.
Also, I think a lot of people would possibly find this pretentious. Possibly.
I think it's very Oscar baity in a way.
Yes, and I think that
it has a lot of Forrest Gump in
it. I think generally Oscar Best Pictures don't really have an amazing legacy.
No, and I think this might be
one of them.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, think of all the Oscar winners of the past. This one in 2013, 2012.
Would have been the 2013 Oscars.
So think of all the Oscar Best Picture winners of that since then, and I wouldn't say many of them are rewatchable.
Except for La La Land. Just it didn't win.
Of course, yeah. Like, has anyone seen Moonlight since it won? Ironically, Green Book's somewhat rewatchable, which is probably the film that is the most divisive
that's a
Best Picture
movie,
win.
Though. It's forgettable now in terms of... If you're looking at it in terms of stature, then you would say, as an Oscar winner, like, have a lot of people seen it? Probably not.
Probably not, no. But I mean, it's not a bad film.
It's definitely not a bad film.
It's very interesting.
Weird thing about this list is just like it's definitely not a bad film. It's
but
just
out
not...
of the 3 films we've talked about, it would be the one I would put on last.
Absolutely, which is weird because like even critically, Life of Pi is rated so much higher than Snatch.
Yeah.
But just from an enjoyment perspective, I think I would probably... And I agree. I was someone who, for a good 20, 25 years, didn't like Snatch.
Do you reckon Bricktop on the boat would have been more interesting a film than The Tiger? Do you know what nemesis means?
I think he is on the boat, right? That's the twist at the end.
If I want to throw a dog a bone, I don't want to know if it tastes good or not. You get in my way again, and I'll cut your fucking Jacobs off.
So going from...
Do you reckon Bricktop had cruel intentions for that matter?
Oh, you did it. You stole it. I was going to try and see if I could come up with one. Yes, Cruel Intentions is the next one. Number 4 film on our list.
Yeah, although you don't get Bricktop in this, but you do get a lot of kissing and manipulation.
So, I am fully on board with the cult status of Cruel Intentions.
I don't like the film.
You don't like it?
No.
Why?
It's like a rich person's wet dream of like Americana. and I hate everyone in it.
You're meant to hate everyone.
Yeah,
In it, though.
I don't think that makes me think. Oh, I have the film's good because I hate everyone.
See, now when I watch Cruel Intentions, I see a lot of Bret Easton Ellis, and I see a lot of. Have you seen Dangerous Liaisons?
No.
So this is basically the tweeny version of that, and that's also based on a French book around aristocracy and all of that lot. I completely.
The acting.
There's an element
bad.
of Eat the Rich in this that's just kind of like, well, reputation is everything to them. Let's see what they will sacrifice to do that. Everyone is so nasty to each other. I quite like that cynicism to it. Like, I quite like that. The weird thing is that they give Ryan Philippe's character a bit of a redemption arc in it, which is very strange.
Which makes it's they have to give somebody some kind of redeeming quality.
Yeah.
To sort of like make the audience buy into this nonsense.
Yeah. But what I do like about it is it's inspired so much since. I don't think if we didn't have Cruel Intentions, so when did Cruel Intentions come out? That came out in 99, right? 99.
99, okay.
So you cannot tell me that Cruel Intentions didn't have an influence on things like Gossip Girl and all those types of these guys are so rich that you can take the everyday out of this, and it's social media and all of this is more important to them and their reputation than actually who they are as a person. It's battling against that, and I don't know, I find it just oddly intriguing. It is ultimately at its heart, it's a weird movie, and you can tell that it's an adaptation of a book from the 1800s, or possibly even earlier than that, I'm not 100% sure. But you can tell that it's that type of adaptation, in the same way that Clueless is a bit weird like that way.
Yeah.
Where it's just
but Clueless is charming.
Clueless is a brilliant film.
It's the 30th anniversary. They've re-released it at the cinema.
They have.
Yeah.
I need to go and see Cher on the big screen again, because it's just such a good...
I need to see Paul Rudd on the big screen to know that he hasn't aged in 40 years. But no, I don't know. I can't really get on board with films like this. Can I be honest? It's the kind of film that they made in this era to basically get very attractive women to take their clothes off. It's like Wild Things. It's just like, it feels like there's a lot of taking advantage. I think this is like one of those sort of like Basic Instinct inspired films.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we'll take that sort of like weird, bad girl kind of like scenario.
I think it's more just of you can make a villain out of a woman.
Yeah.
Like a woman can be a villain.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. I think that's quite an endearing part of the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love looking back at this because it's 99. You could very easily have told someone that this is a vampire movie and they would believe it. Because Ryan Philippe is walking around looking like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, he really is.
The whole way through. And it's
We're sure Joss Whedon didn't make this.
Exactly, right? Like, I mean, to be fair, he probably makes something better than this. But you never know. But no, I am on the cult following, like cult film fan of this. There's just something really endearing about it.
Yeah.
I think just in my comments or my notes for this, I was just put, it's surprisingly good fun in a horribly indulgent kind of way. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that holds up.
IMDb review.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it kind of holds up, is that it's just nasty people doing nasty things to each other. And in a weird way, it's kind of fine.
Do you think Bricktop would have done well taking down the cartel?
Again, I think Bricktop would have been the cartel. Like, I think that's
he would have actually approached Benicio del Toro at the end of this film and just said, "Do you know what nemesis means?"
That's fair.
And then Benicio del Toro would again just like murder him cold-bloodedly, like he does with his entire family.
Get me a cup of tea. Sicario.
It's an amazing.
If you've not seen this film, it's a long film. It's an amazingly tense movie. But if you have no intentions of seeing this film, at least go onto YouTube and watch the last 15 minutes.
No. Watch the plane. Watch the leaving the airport on the first plane.
No. Benicio del Toro.
That's all you need
around the dinner table.
No. That will spoil too much.
No. Well, that's what I mean. If you're never going to watch it, but you're going to see something.
But you want the introduction of these characters to be your your avenue in, and just the plane with Josh Brolin, Emily Blunt, and him, and who's this mysterious man? Barely acknowledging anybody.
Oh.
I want to know more about him, and that's basically the film.
How could it? I mean, Sicario is fantastic.
It's amazing. It's Taylor Sheridan's, who has become a very acclaimed and interesting filmmaker, particularly at Paramount Plus with Yellowstone. But he started...
And 1923 as well, isn't
1923, 1883, and he's done so many other little bits and bobs for Paramount. But he started writing in film, so he wrote this, and then he wrote Hell or High Water, which is a wonderful film.
Do you know what? There's a part of me that I think Hell or High Water is better than Sicario.
I think it is.
I think it is a better movie.
I think it's all-rounded.
Yeah.
A better watch than Sicario, because Sicario takes its time.
I also think Hell or High Water has better performances in it. Just slightly. I know I'm saying that away from writing, but I think as a movie, I think it's slightly better. But no, you're right. Stay on your thought process. Is essentially what I'm saying. So Sicario, Hell or High Water, and then Wind River.
Wind River. So he made 3, because they're all. I mean, Sicario isn't technically a western, but it has very much western vibes, and he's become like the king of westerns.
Yeah.
So yeah, he made this Hell or High Water, and then Wind River, and you think the world's your oyster, and then he made Yellowstone, which is one of the most disappointing things I've ever watched in my entire life, and I know I'm confused by the direction of his career, because he was an actor, Taylor Sheridan. He actually was fairly famous in the first season of Sons of Anarchy. He played a cop, and that was basically his typecast in Hollywood. He just was the cop or the authority figure, and then he delved into screenwriting, and then did this, and you think we've got like a absolute star here, but now he's kind of lost in TV.
Okay.
I'd be very intrigued what you think of Yellowstone after watching these 3 films, because it's just such a plummet in quality.
Is that not because the Western genre fits TV at the moment more so than movies?
Not the kind of Western. There were neo-Westerns, the Yellowstone TV show, and it just feels like a really poorly conceived soap opera with like these monologues that don't feel realistic. I mean, it's got its moments, and it's very popular. Like, it's one of the most popular shows on streaming until Kevin Costner left and made these random Western films that have destroyed his career.
That ironically aren't written by Taylor Sheridan.
But talking about Sicario, it's a wonderful time. There's so many like little mysteries that you uncover as the film unravels. Emily Blunt's performance is fantastic. She's such a good sort of like anchor for the viewer. We are essentially Emily Blunt throughout the entire film, experiencing what she's experiencing for the first time. Josh Brolin. I mean, the interesting thing about this film is that the protagonists are also kind of awful, but only in your point of view.
Oh, it's a perspective movie.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like No Country for Old Men.
All the way down to the final scene,
stuff.
which you mentioned with Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
And you question, is what he is doing correct or not?
Yeah.
And that's the brilliant concept of Sicario.
Yeah.
And it's also Denis Villeneuve.
Yes.
Like,
yes, he's a
fantastic.
fabulous filmmaker. Denis Villeneuve, I think, might be my second favourite director at the moment.
Well, he is essentially, he's basically the French Canadian Christopher Nolan.
He is, yeah. Exactly.
Are you looking forward to Dune Messiah?
I wasn't too hot on Dune Part 2.
Really? I loved it.
I liked it,
but
I didn't like it as much as Dune 1.
That's fair, in a way.
So I'm a bit like, I'm not 100% sure about Dune 3, the Messiah one.
Okay.
It makes me... It's certainly event cinema. It's a reason to go to the cinema.
Yeah. Dune 2 at the cinema was
I think
amazing.
that's it. I watched it at home.
Oh, see, I think that makes such a difference.
Yeah.
But no, I think Sicario, in terms of atmosphere and filmmaking and character development, it's the best one of the list so far. Whether it's the best film or the best time, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you reckon if Bricktop and Howard Hughes met, Howard Hughes wouldn't have spent so much time suffering from OCD?
Would you reckon he would have forced Howard Hughes into a legal boxing match?
Almost certainly, yeah.
Almost certainly. Who do you reckon would have won? Howard Hughes or...
well, Jake LaMotta was around back then, so, you could have a Raging Bull collaboration.
Oh, okay. That would be a film.
Yeah.
Not a good film, but it would be a film.
Please should we talk about Scorsese's 2000s when talking about this film?
I think so. I think the conversation with Scorsese also has to be had at the same time as where DiCaprio was in his career.
Yes.
Because I think ultimately, this film was made at the wrong time. I think if we'd have let this wait, let DiCaprio mature as a filmmaker, but also get audiences used to a 2.5 hour movie, do a couple more redrafts, get that over the line, I think we might have ended up with a better movie. I think this was just made at the wrong time. DiCaprio wasn't quite mature enough yet to lead a movie. You know, we're only talking like 6 years on from The Beach, right? Or something like that.
4 years.
4 years on from The Beach. So
DiCaprio, when this came out, would have been nearly 30.
And he wasn't good enough yet to lead a movie. He wasn't good enough to lead The Beach. Because, up until this point, this was just after Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
So he's doubling up there with...
it's his second collaboration with Scorsese after Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
And this is basically when he starts his starring role run.
Yeah.
Because Gangs of New York, he's the lead, but it's
still
an
ensemble. Yeah.
It?
I mean, that's the same with most stuff. He's kind of co-lead with Tom Hanks in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
And then he does... a lot of his movies are like that. Even things like, Shutter Island. He's with Mark Ruffalo in that.
Yeah.
He's in Revolutionary Road. He's with Kate Winslet again in that. Titanic, he's with Kate Winslet. Inception, he's with an ensemble cast. As much as he's a leader. Like, The Aviator is one of very few roles in which DiCaprio is, like, front and centre. He's given a Daniel Day-Lewis role.
Shutter Island, he's in, like, every moment of that film. I would say he's definitely the lead of that.
Yeah, but you don't think... When you think of The Aviator and you think of Howard Hughes and what Scorsese did with that, your mind immediately goes to a DiCaprio moment, right? But in Shutter Island, it doesn't. It goes to his interactions with Mark Ruffalo. It goes to his interactions with... what's his name?
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
Yeah. Well, I think The Aviator, it's not just a film about Howard Hughes, but it's about the world Howard Hughes operated in, where obviously Shutter Island is uncovering this like mystery on this island.
I think that's the thing, though. It's like I don't know. I'm still not convinced that he was a strong enough actor to carry a biopic.
What do you not like about The Aviator other than DiCaprio, or is it
definitely
just
pacing? So my issue with it was why I said it probably needs a couple of redrafts. It's a really long movie, and it suffers from the same issue that I have with J. Edgar, where pacing and tonally is kind of redundant at that point. It's got a very consistent tone, but I think the length of it plus pacing means you very kind of ebb and flow your way through to a finish line. It doesn't quite pay off in the way that you want it to, and I think because of that, it feels like it just doesn't really feel like it really moves you that much, which is ironic considering this is supposed to be about air travel.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a film... how much money did this film make? Because I just feel like a Howard Hughes biopic at any time wouldn't have been like on everyone's radar. But I suppose... Was it the power of Scorsese and DiCaprio really a thing at this point? Probably didn't have quite the same legs as it did like 10 years later with The Wolf of Wall Street. But I think it's a good film. It is a bit long, and it does struggle with...
It's made 213 million at the box office, 110 million budget.
Oh, okay, so it barely broke even then. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it struggles to really know what it wants to do. I think it delves into the OCD side of Howard Hughes very well.
That's interesting.
But
and again, that shows. I think that also links to where and what DiCaprio was wanting to do with his career at this time. He wasn't afraid, for instance, to show that side of a character on screen.
But it's an interesting time in Scorsese's career because if you look at, he's like the king of masterpieces. But I mean, I would say from Casino to The Departed, did he make any films that were like enormously successful, like in terms of like being critically acclaimed and a box office success?
No.
So it's an interesting time in his career, because I would say that his career, obviously, The Departed happens, and that's huge, and then he obviously makes Shutter Island, which I think is one of his best films in many ways.
Definitely.
And I feel like his career since then has been mostly just like huge successes with Wolf of Wall Street.
And that's Wolf of Wall Street for me is a more interesting movie.
Yes. Oh, it's got a lot more
from a biopic.
Yeah.
It's paced. I mean, the Wolf of Wall Street is just. I mean, you'd arguably say it is a absolute train wreck from start to finish in terms of pace and chaos.
It's the debauchery of that
Yeah,
world.
it's kind of the antithesis, I think, to The Aviator.
So it's got its place, but it's one of the weaker Scorsese films. But the 2000s is probably his weakest decade.
Yeah,
but it's still pretty good.
It's still you still wouldn't.
Ironically, he won his Oscar that decade.
Yeah.
But
if we don't have The Aviator, then the last one on our list is the lovable Wall-E. 2008.
Yeah.
That's
so
a long time ago now.
I did not love this film for many, 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 many moons.
Really?
And then I watched it probably about 4 or 5 years ago on my own, and I was just completely blown away by it. It's weird how just it takes certain mood and certain times for a film to finally click in your head. I had that experience with The Big Lebowski. I was like, why do people like this film?
Like it.
And then I watched it when I watched it when I was quite down, and I was just thought this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But yeah, with Wall-E, it's very comfortably like a masterpiece of animation, of storytelling. Like, I mean, in terms of like silent movie storytelling, it's like probably the best of the century so far. Can't even think of anything that could compare. And
it's the closest thing that they've ever got to actually creating a film around the lamp at the beginning of the Pixar logo. Yeah. Like, that to me is like, I wonder what we could do with this lamp. And then somehow Wall-E was birthed from that idea. It's just so fabulous.
Wall-E, is a little trivia. Wall-E is voiced by Ben Burt, who did all the sound effects for Star Wars.
Really?
He created the lightsaber sound and Darth Vader's breathing and R2-D2. So it's kind of like R2-D2.
That kind of makes sense.
So, but yeah. I mean, we haven't really spoken about the plot mainly of all the films, but because Wall-E is like a short, silent animation film, we probably should explain it.
Yeah.
It's basically Earth has been rendered uninhabitable, and it's basically just full of garbage. And Wall-E is a robot designed to basically clear up the garbage for when humans come back to Earth. So it's basically a story about this incredibly adorable, lonely robot who
has a pet cockroach.
Has a little pet cockroach.
So lovely.
And then something happens at the start of the film that changes his trajectory and humans and Earth itself. And it's kind of 2 films in one. It's got sort of this apocalyptic feel in a way in the first half, and then it becomes kind of like a 2001 Space Odyssey in the second. But they're both equally as brilliant as the other in many, many different ways. It's got one of my favourite lines ever in a film where the human says, I don't want to just survive, I want to live, which in the context of why he's saying it is so amazing. And it's got so many heartbreaking little moments. The music is incredible.
Do you reckon it's one of the most well-animated robots on screen?
Is there a better one?
I don't think there is.
Yeah. Because he's so relatable. That's the beauty of Pixar in its golden era. Like, the most strange creatures or anything is just completely relatable.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost like the beginning of the end of Pixar's golden era.
Yeah.
And you kind of wish they went back, because it's just so simple. It's not
so simple.
It's just the simplicity of it's great. But the director of Wall-E is also directing Toy Story 5. So.
Okay.
And Andrew Stanton's probably my favourite Pixar guy. He's been there since the beginning, and he also directed Finding Nemo and John Carter, for any of you.
Or for all that great knowledge. Still my money. Thank
biggest,
you, Avengers.
The biggest flop of all time. But he
also did Stranger Things. He did a couple of Stranger Things.
And Better Call Saul. He's sort of found his live action niche in prestigious television.
As you do.
But yeah, his biggest project for a decade is Toy Story 5 next year.
Okay.
And he's one of the originals left, along with Pete Docter. So
okay.
It's exciting.
Yeah. No, it's a lovely, wonderful little movie. I don't really have much more to add to it, really. Thomas Newman's score. We were actually talking about how hard Phil Collins goes. Thomas Newman goes, you know what? We're not going to go as hard, but we're going to go soul.
When Wally's love interest arrives and the spaceship leaves, and it basically is a brilliant introduction to a character and her rebellious nature and her like love of doing, love of just exploring, and then she basically just like messes around flying for a bit, and the music that plays where she like flies around like the basically it's the same when Wally falls in love with her, and the music that plays with it is like so perfect. And it's this, and Thomas Newman also composed Finding Nemo, which is my favourite musical score from a Pixar film, outside of Randy Newman's stuff, but that's obviously lyrically there too. But yeah, it's perfect. It's just a perfect animation.
Yeah.
You just wish that you had more stuff like this.
You really do.
Yeah.
Just get it.
But then at the same time, it's like ageless, so you can watch it now and think it came out yesterday.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, amazing.
Okay then, so we have spoken about those lovely 7 movies. To recap, we've got Snatch, Tarzan, Life of Pi, Cruel Intentions, Sicario, The Aviator, and Wall-E. Let's order this.
Cruel Intentions is my rock bottom. And I don't mean to be cruel, but it is my intention to have this game the wooden spoon.
Okay, no. I think it is better than The Aviator.
You think Cruel Intentions is better than The Aviator?
Yeah.
Cruel Intentions is possibly more interesting in aspects, but no, it doesn't work in any other field. So, a flat no from me.
Well, I mean, I'm not arguing it. I just, I like Cruel Intentions from I like kind of the cult nature of it. I just find it, as I say, it's a weirdly, darkly indulgent movie.
Yeah.
But I can see why people wouldn't necessarily gel with it.
The acting is horrendous too.
It's not that bad.
I think it's bad.
No, I think it's all right because I think it's supposed to be that. It's supposed to be that. It's not supposed to be anything else.
I don't know. Like Starship Troopers, the acting is deliberately bad, but this feels like genuine bad.
I think if you want the serious version of this exists, you have Dangerous Liaisons. This is the teeny version of Dangerous Liaisons. And I think because of that, it kind of is absolutely perfectly fine in what it is.
I'm
You're
sorry.
not meant to take it seriously.
I'm not having Cruel Intentions above The Aviator. I could maybe have a debate about Life of Pi. But no, Cruel Intentions is...
All right.
It's a no
But
for me.
as long as then The Aviator is next on that list... I think
this kind of goes back to previous discussions of like rewatchability. Like I'd probably rather rewatch The Aviator than Life of Pi, but I will give in as you've allowed Cruel Intentions to finish bottom.
I think Life of Pi still has the satisfaction about it. Life of Pi you still get to the end of it and you go, that was a really nice story. As much as then the next day you've forgotten it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would never watch. I don't need to ever watch Life of Pi again.
No, but it has like elements to it. It's a bit like the Avatar effect. It looks great.
The time period.
If ever you bought a Blu-ray player, you would probably get Life of Pi to show it off.
The time period of The Aviator's very interesting too. It's a really interesting time in like Hollywood and that time in America, and I feel like they could have probably done a more better paced version of the life of Howard Hughes.
Oh, they definitely could have done.
But
I also don't believe that DiCaprio is mature enough to have done that role either.
So you think like Wolf of Wall Street time, that The Aviator would have probably been better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would have been more interesting.
All right. So what we've got...
potentially after Inception.
Okay.
Because by that point he'd done... Revolutionary Road for me is a huge deal in DiCaprio. I mean, if ever we have a DiCaprio... But DiCaprio's my guy. Like, genuinely, it's that. And for some reason, Matthew McConaughey at the moment. But like these guys, I could talk about like their actual careers more than anything else, where they're more interested in compared to others.
So,
but yeah, no, sorry. I would say I don't think it's the best performance from DiCaprio. I think there is a better time for him to have done this role.
was this his first Best Actor Oscar nomination? I think it was actually, wasn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So what we've got Cruel Intentions, The Aviator, and then Life of Pi.
The Aviator, Life of Pi, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have next. Jesus. Well, Tarzan.
I would have said Snatch.
Ooh, what, you'd rather watch Tarzan than Snatch?
I don't think it's always a case of I'd rather watch one over the other, but Phil Collins' score
No, I can't have a film where I'm basing
so hard.
90% of my love of it on the music.
No, I think
Although
I think Tarzan's better than Snatch.
Yeah, but Snatch has got Fucking in the Bushes by Oasis. What more do you want?
A better film.
Do 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 do.
Guess, or you want to guess, like.
No, I think Tarzan is a good time, but I think Snatch is so much more rewatchable and quotable, and yeah.
No, I think Tarzan's a better movie.
Why is it a better movie?
It's more coherent. I think it has a better, more satisfying ending. I think it manages to sustain the 90s golden era of Disney in a way that I think is quite good. It's good. It's still quite reflective of their quality of that time. Score is phenomenal for obvious reasons. We keep talking about Phil Collins. He's gone very hard for the score. I like the voice cast. I just think it's quite wholesome. It's nice, and I personally I don't talk about animated films enough, and Tarzan actually is a very enjoyable animated movie, and I think it has it over Snatch just purely for the ending of Snatch for me isn't hugely satisfying, whereas Tarzan is nice. It's tight. It's succinct. It knows what it's doing. But Snatch for me just unravels me.
Yeah,
As I say, I think it'd be a different scenario if this was Lock, Stock over Snatch.
Okay.
Because I do think ultimately Lock, Stock is still the better movie.
You got like Lock, Stock. Snatch on paper is a very, very hard film to pull off. It's got like 25 characters in it. There's so many little things going on.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, we said it when we were talking about the movie.
Somehow it works
by framing it around the MacGuffin. That's why that story works.
Yeah.
Because if they'd have made Jason Statham the main character, if they'd have made any of them the main character, like made Vinnie Jones the main character, it wouldn't have worked. They just made everything evolve around this diamond.
Yeah.
And they kept reminding you and getting you throwbacks, and they kept... The dialogue is really kind of quite well written in as much as they will say something that makes you remember where you are in the story.
Yeah.
And why you're following these people around and so on and so forth. Because there's so many names to juggle as well.
Like Boris. Boris the Bullet Dodger.
Gorgeous George.
Is the great, oh, yeah. We've lost Gorgeous George. Eh? You'll have to repeat that. We've lost Gorgeous George. Well, how'd you lose him? He's not a set of fucking cock. Yeah, it's just hilarious. No, I can't have Tarzan above this. This is like one of the great sort of like rewatchable experiences of all time.
Fine, yeah, I'll concede.
Okay,
that's fine.
Don't get me wrong, Tarzan is good fun, but it's mainly memorable because of the music, and I just can't. Yeah, don't get me wrong. When Son of Man comes on, I am my top's off and I'm sort of waving it about and going, Son of Man.
Yeah, this is the thought I won't get out of my head tonight.
Yeah, good.
Cool. All right, so
we're on
so Tarzan, Snatch, and then
so it's Sicario and Wall-E.
I think it goes in that order. I think Wall-E's the best film on this list.
Yeah, I think Wall-E is like... Sicario is like a really well-made, tense thriller with like really brilliant little nuances, and Benicio del Toro's character is very, very well written.
Yeah.
Very much like a show don't tell kind of character. But I think Wall-E is the only film on this list that you could say is like a masterpiece of its genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would even
Cruel
debate...
Intentions isn't.
Sorry?
Cruel Intentions isn't.
Well, masterpiece of nonsense. But I would actually have a debate here that Wall-E is the last truly special Pixar film. Because every film since has kind of been related to something else. But in terms of like, you go to see a film and you're like, I've never really seen anything like that before.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think that's a completely different conversation entirely. Like, what is the best Pixar movie? I mean, this is up there.
Oh, yeah.
This is like top 3 Pixar, I think.
I think this is easily the best one that doesn't involve like a sequel. Maybe Monsters Inc. Oh, no,
best
Monsters Inc.
standalone.
Monsters Jr. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the best standalone then.
But yeah, this is like a really just like special experience.
Yeah.
So I would have Wall-E up there. But on another day, Sicario.
Absolutely, yeah. If this was another day, another list, Sicario would easily top it. So I think from that
shout
standpoint,
out to Benicio del Toro
absolutely
for appearing on two films.
Two films on this
where
list.
He plays completely different characters.
Completely different
couldn't
characters.
Be further apart.
That's true.
One is like a deranged like gambling addict, and the other
That's
one
only in it for about 20 minutes, if that.
Oh, barely that. Like
if that.
5.
Yeah. Four fingers.
Because he's the lead on the credits. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Because I think he just came off his like big Oscar. I can't remember. I need to look that up. Whether he won the Oscar that year or the year before, because it was huge around this time.
Yeah.
Because Usual Suspects like made him enormous, and then was it Traffic?
Traffic. Yeah.
Traffic,
yeah. Wasn't 8. Yeah, Traffic.
Yeah. So he was in the Usual Suspects, then leaving Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and then Snatch, and then he won an Oscar for Traffic. So this was like his golden era, and then so to do this and then eventually like something like Sicario, which is possibly his best film.
I don't know. Usual Suspects is pretty decent.
Yeah, but that last scene in
Sicario
is like wonderful.
He's in the Phoenician Scheme, isn't he?
He's the lead.
Movie.
Yeah.
He's the lead in that. So
still the guy.
Yeah, he's still about, isn't he?
But yeah.
Anyway, right. I
that.
think we should wrap this up, shall we?
Yeah.
This is actually, I must admit, in terms of lists, this was one of the most interesting to think about.
Well, we were skeptical about this last week.
Really skeptical. When we first saw it, we were like, I'm in an iron about it. But then, I mean, that's the whole point of these shows, right? It's to kind of reevaluate and to look into these with a bit more depth. And show you basically just how meaningful lists are. Because I still think Cruel Intentions is better than all of these. And Tarzan is definitely better than Snatch. So let's round this up then, shall we? So I think at number 7, we had Cruel Intentions. At number 6, we had The Aviator. And then at 5, we had Life of Pi. 4, we had Tarzan. 3, we had Snatch. 2, we had Sicario. And at number 1 spot this time around, it was Wall-E.
Wall-E.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for taking part in the latest episode of Such a Ranker. How do you think we did? How do you rate our list? Do you think that Cruel Intentions is actually a lot better than Sam cares to admit?
Well, of course it's better than me.
Yeah. Well, no, I should have just left it as, do you think Cruel Intentions is better than Sam? And we could have gone with that. I'll remember that for next time. Would you do anything differently? Would you rate any of these films differently? Do you agree with what we're saying, or do you think we're saying complete and utter crap? We would love to hear your opinions. But in the meantime, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Ian, do you know what nemesis means?